You're muted, Jim.
Okay, you got me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Our Father God in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to come and discuss the county business. And Father, as always, we thank you for all your blessings you give us each and every day. We ask you for your blessings on this county and on our community and our country. And please help those who have the virus and any other things that's going on with their life. Father, we just ask for your blessings in that. And we thank you for your son, Jesus Christ. And it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So this is our Monday, August 3rd, 2020 fiscal court meeting. And if the clerk would please call the roll.
Squire Brewer,
Here.
Squire Mike Moody, Squire Mike Moody,
Mike, you're muted.
Here.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Here.
Squire Travis,
Present.
Squire Jerry Moody. Squire Jerry Moody,
I see him on there. He's muted. There he is.
all here.
Okay. So the first item of business will be approval of the minutes of the prior court meeting from July 20th. Do I hear a motion?
Jim Travis makes a motion to approve the minutes with any corrections or additions.
All right.
Brewer seconded.
Any corrections to be noted? If not, call the roll, please.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer.
Yes.
Motion
Okay, next up is communications from Judge Executive.
No comments from residents?
That's coming. Okay. First thing, air conditioning at EMS, there's one unit of the 3 units need to be replaced. So we're getting quotes, and I'll have those quotes for you August 17th. There has been an uptick in the number of COVID cases in the 4-county North Central District Health Department area, including Spencer County. I've been sending those press releases out to everyone, so you all noticed the uptick. I know there are some who wonder, publicly and privately, why I, as county judge, don't announce the specifics of cases and people who test positive. To privacy concerns and HIPAA restraints, I cannot and I will not broadcast publicly information regarding specific people who test positive. The North Central Health District is notified by the labs of a positive or negative result, and they take the appropriate action. So that's all handled out of the North Central District Health Department and the local health department, including the contact tracing, which may or may not result in people being required to quarantine as determined by the health district. The jailer vehicle has been finally, the transmission has been repaired on that one, but the former jailer vehicle, also the transmission has been repaired on that. It may be that Jerry will expound on that a little bit during the equipment committee report. An insurance claim was filed against the jailer's Explorer because of the accident. And let's see, today If I'm not mistaken, Squire Travis, I believe that you have a birthday today. So just want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
With that, we're going to move on to communications from citizens. Roy?
Yes, thank you. I'd like my words to be on the record. I have previously talked to this fiscal court with regarding responsibilities, due diligence, doing homework, doing analysis of various different topics. The most recent topic is the salaries of employees. Early on, before any votes were ever made with regards to employee salaries, I came to the fiscal court and I asked the fiscal court to do their due diligence, to do comparisons of salaries, job descriptions, and do an analysis of the overtime situation that is rampant within this county. Not one discussion was ever made with any of these topics other than after the fact when Brett Beaverson made a comment to do some review of employees after the votes were made. But prior to the votes, there was no due diligence, and the responsibility falls on this fiscal court. It now falls on the magistrates. We already know John Riley's agenda as far as the employee salaries. He doesn't want to burden the backs of the employees. However, now the employee salaries are out of control and we've created a monster. We're going to have a fiscal court, county courthouse that's going to be coming up, and it's going to be a very expensive endeavor unless we do the same thing that Henry County did. Let the courthouse take over the courthouse and let the county lease buildings outside the courthouse with no expense to the county. I repeat, no expense to the county. I've already done my homework on the courthouse, and I will be reporting to this in next fiscal meetings regarding what Henry County has done and what Spencer County plans to do with regards to these outrageous expenditures on the courthouse. I know what's happening, and I will be reporting that. Thank you kindly.
All right. Any other citizens would like to address the court? All right. Hearing none, we're going to move on to communications, reports from members, other offices, and committees. And first up is Director Chris Lamp.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have the agenda from me. Is the COVID the first on the agenda for this?
Yes.
Yeah. As the judge mentioned earlier, we're seeing a dramatic increase in the number of positive COVID cases in Spencer County. That may be due to the number as the health district has started testing again with the health department weekly. But we have seen in what I'm calling this latest round, far greater numbers than we saw at the onset of COVID in Spencer County. We've had some positive exposures to some county employees and have been following the CDC and North Central Health District's recommendation and guidelines on how to deal with those. Last week, I worked with the judge executive on a policy he emailed out to all the department heads on some safety steps and actions we need to take until the end of the pandemic. So that was sent out to each of the department heads. Again, we need to just stay diligent, remind everybody to social distance and wear some sort of face mask. That is the easiest way to avoid exposure. And what the North Central Health District and CDC consider an exposure is if you are within feet of a positive individual without personal protective equipment for greater than 15 minutes. So we just need to be diligent in social distancing, limiting the amount of face-to-face contact we have, and wearing personal protective equipment as much as possible, or to the extent that's possible.
Anybody have any questions of Chris? All right. Anything else, Chris?
No, I believe the new hires are further down. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
Sure.
under new business.
Okay.
I will say, and it somewhat goes back to the citizen's comment, is that what we did as a fiscal court, particularly with the EMS salaries, I understand you all had interviews of probably 12 interviews, where before that we were lucky to get any. So,
Correct.
So we now can begin to hopefully fill some of these full-time positions and so forth. Okay, anything else, Chris?
Not at this time.
Okay. Next up is Julie with zoning, planning and zoning, readings and recommendations.
Okay, good morning. I have 3 second readings. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Okay, the first is the application of Timothy and Tanya Herndon requesting a zone change from Ag 2 agricultural to R1 residential on 1.012 acres known as Tract 4A and 3.774 acres of amended Tract 4 located in the 900 block of Van Buren Road. Commissioner Travis made a motion to approve the application of Tim and Tanya Herndon for the zoning of the 1.012 acres from Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential, and on the 3.774 acres. This property is located in the 900 block of Van Buren Road. This zoning meets the comprehensive plan guidelines, and there wasn't anyone there present to speak against the application. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Hunt. Motion carried. And this is in Esquire Beaverson's district.
Make a motion to approve based on the facts and findings of the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Okay, we've got a motion.
Jim Travis.
And we've got a second. Without any further comment, call the roll, please.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Fritz Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, the second application is that of Marshela McAllister for Brian Yates, requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural and R1 residential on 8.0 acres known as Tract 1 and 2.79 acres known as the residual tract. Property is located at 5715 Briar Ridge Road. Commissioner Mudd made the motion to approve the application of Marshela McAllister for Brian Yates, requesting the Ag 1 agricultural on 8.02 acres to go to Ag 2 agricultural and on 2.79 acres to go from Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential. The comprehensive plan recommends medium density residential, and there was no opposition. Motion carried. This is also in Esquire Beaverson's district.
Again, I'll make a motion to approve based on the facts and findings of the Planning and Zoning Committee.
We've got a motion.
I'll second it. Brewer.
We've got a second. If there's no discussion, call the roll, please.
Fritz Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
motion carries.
And next.
Next, we have the application of David and Linda Koger requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 8.22 acres. Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on Tract 5A consisting of 0.487 acres. And Ag 1 agricultural to R3 residential on Lot 6 consisting of 1.293 acres. Property is located at 3146 Bloomfield Road. Commissioner Fowl made a motion to approve the zoning request of David and Linda Koger, requesting the Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural and R1 residential and R3 residential on the 0.487 acres to join in with Tract 5 to form Lot 5A. Lot 6 being 1.293 acres. That is being changed from Ag 1 agricultural to R3 residential. And the balance of the remaining tract consisting of 8.22 acres from Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural. They made this subject to plat approval, which that was granted. There was no one on the Zoom with any questions or opposed. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Travis. Motion carried. This is in Esquire Jerry Moody's district.
Motion to approve recommendation of planning and zoning based on the facts and findings of the planning and zoning board.
We've got a motion.
Second.
Beavers.
We've got 3 seconds. How about Mike Moody? All right. Is there any other discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley.
Yes.
Motion carries.
If I can, if this is a appropriate time or not, for zoning, I know at the last meeting, we discussed, a couple of openings for my office. After speaking with Jan, and giving her the $15.25 an hour offer, she still is not interested in staying full-time. However, I told her that we are preparing a position to do enforcement for both offices as part-time, and she's interested in that position. I didn't know if court needed to do anything to be able to move her from full-time to that part-time position. I also asked her if she would be willing to stay at the $14 per hour pay rate in that part-time position, and she agreed. So,
Yeah, that's
I'm
as of
looking for
September.
guidance.
I think we've got some time because it's as of September 1st, so that'll give us some time to interview some folks and try to fill that full-time position. And then as we do, then move Jan into the part-time position. So we can take that up probably either our next meeting or the meeting after that in September.
Okay, I just wanted to make you aware. That way, if for some reason that the court felt that was not a feasible change, I would have time to advertise that position as well.
Does anyone object to or have any comment? I know this maybe should have been under new business, but or old business, but I just want to make sure there's no objection from the court members. Essentially, we're talking about creating a part-time position for enforcement, and that would be enforcement for planning and zoning and also for the occupational tax office. And then filling the full-time position that Jan will leave should we agree to move her into the part-time position. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't, but so anyway, if there's no other questions, Julie, I appreciate it. Do you have anything else?
That's all we have.
Thank you so much.
Judge, this is Jim. Do you think maybe we need to advertise for both those part-time positions and give the public a chance to apply for those instead of just giving it to Jan?
We can do that. You're okay with that, Julie?
Sure, if that's what we need to do, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be more transparent if we open it up and, because, if we just move her into that position, then some people are going to say, yeah, you're taking sides and moving, So I think if we open it up to the public, then, it's transparent on our part.
Yeah,
Okay.
although it's not unusual or unreasonable for an existing employee to apply for a lateral move but anyway, yeah, point well taken.
Okay.
Anything else, Julie?
That's all I have.
Excellent. So we're going to move on then to the safety committee report, and that's going to be either Chris Limp or Tim Brewer. Who's going to give that report?
I will.
All right.
We had our safety briefing, committee briefing this morning. Basically, last meeting back in February, we had talked about doing countywide training days, but because of COVID, obviously those got put on the back burner, and we have elected to just table that until further notice, probably maybe the first part of next year. So nothing has been done with countywide safety training, even though the county is still doing their regular safety trainings each week. We wanted to try to get a little bit more in depth, but we're good to go on that. We talked about the COVID and how we needed to step up the importance of wearing our masks, and I think Chris and the judge have already addressed that through their meetings last week and put out to the county employees what they expected to happen. But other than that, safety seems to be doing well. We're not having as many incidents or accidents as what we had in the past. So I think the county employees are doing a good job, and like to see it stay that way and even get better.
All right. Anybody have any questions of the safety committee? I'll just say this, it is very important, and appreciate the committee stepping up and doing this. And Tim, as you noted, some of the departments, as a course of their regular work schedule, they do weekly training. I know the road department, EMS, and some of the others do some training. But it also has a big effect on our insurance. If we can cut those claims down, our insurance is going to come down, and it takes a while for that to happen. So anyway, I appreciate your all's work on that. Anything else from the safety committee? If not, we're going to move on to the solid waste committee report, and I do have on the agenda under new business the solid waste ordinance. So this would be just any updates from solid waste committee.
Okay, this is Jim. We had our last meeting on July the 23rd. We had a representative from Rumpke Trash Collectors to talk with us and advise us and give us some information about our coming contract for garbage collection, which is going to be expiring December the 31st of this year. We also have planned a meeting for August the 20th with a representative from Republic to also come and meet with us to give us information about what they can offer and just general information. So we'll be meeting with them, and then we'll start planning on putting bids out for our contract for trash haulers at the end of this year.
All right, nothing else from solid waste. We'll move on. Veterans Committee report.
Nothing to report at this time.
All right, and Equipment Committee report. Jerry, bring us up to date.
I think you already mentioned we got Melvin's car back and
Right.
on the insurance stuff. On the Ford truck at Adcox, I have a lot of trouble communicating. They will not return the calls. I go down there and they say they're going to do something and it don't get done. I'd like permission just to go ahead and if we have to get a wreck or whatever it is to get that truck out of there. I'm
Okay, I believe you're breaking up there, Jerry. I'm not sure we got all of what you were saying.
I'm saying the county is getting jerked around, and I want to go ahead and if we have to send a wrecker down there, get the wrecker and get the truck away from them. That truck's been up there well over 2 months, and it is not fixed.
All right.
Last time which was Friday.
Okay.
Excuse me, so which truck in which dealership, where is it at? I'm sorry.
Okay, that's it. I believe the name of the place is Adcock Transmission. It's at Waterproof.
And that is the Ford F-150. It is the old jailer's vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure I need a motion, but I'll entertain a motion to authorize to go ahead and just pull that vehicle back in. Jerry, do you have an idea what maybe we should do with it once we pull it in? Should we take it to a dealer or should we?
We just had to get it back in.
Okay, because even if we decide we're going to sell it, it seems like it would be better if it were operable.
But there's no question about that.
Yeah.
But it's the cost going to make it bring that much more to cover.
Do you think there's a possibility that if he knows we're just going to pull that thing, that'll, for lack of better terms, light a fire and get some priority and get this thing wrapped up down
Judge,
a
with all due respect, I'm about as easy going as they come on it because I was raised in a garage and understand the situation. But I've been down there every week since that truck's been in there, and I get nothing but a runaround.
Okay.
He will call me. I mean, it's just every time I go down there, another story, and he will not return my calls. It's just, there's no use in messing with it anymore. I'm burnt out on it.
Okay. Well, I'll entertain a motion to go ahead and pull that F-150 out of the shop and tow it if necessary, and let's get it down to our shop, and I guess we'll figure out what to do with it from there.
Under the recommendation of Jerry Moody, I'll make a motion that we go retrieve the F-150 from Adcock's Transmission.
You got a motion?
Travis, second.
All right. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that?
I'll go with it. I don't think we needed a motion, but we got it now, so.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Okay, we'll call the roll on the motion and we'll.
Jerry Moody,
Yes.
for Brewer,
Yes.
for Mike Moody,
Yes.
for Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
for Travis.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll make arrangements, and Jerry, I appreciate all your work on that. It's nothing more frustrating than having to go back and back and back and not get any response. So, and I know you're looking at some other things. We've got some issues with our animal control vehicle. We've got issues with the parks, for lack of better terms, I'll call it Parks Department lawnmowers, and some other things that I know Jerry's looking into. So, anything else from the equipment committee?
I would like to add one thing. I'm very disappointed.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Are there any other committee reports that maybe I've missed on getting on the agenda?
Judge, it's not really a committee report. It's just about the pay tables. Let you know that I'd say I'm probably 90% finished with it. After I talk with Todd with the road department, I'd like to spend a little time with you to kind of go over what we found. I appreciate Chris giving me a lot of his time last week on doing some straightening of of these pay tables.
Okay, yeah, I knew you'd been working on it, so appreciate your work on that. Just let me know when you want to try to get together.
All right, will do.
We're going to go back to old business, and it's in regard to our audit proposals. As you know, we've requested proposals. The first round, we got, of course, the proposal from our auditor that's done the last 2 years, Ed Lentz, and we had one other proposal that was substantially higher, so we opted to re-advertise for proposals, and those are in your packet. One I think is substantially higher, like maybe double. I think it's pretty easy to eliminate that one. My concern, and I know that one of the folks that submitted a proposal is on the Zoom meeting this morning. But again, I know my initial recommendation was to stay with the same auditor, Ed Lentz. He's competitive. He's familiar with our county. We, and I understand the concept that, you don't want to continually year after year after year use the same auditor. Jim, you sit on the KIPTA board with me, and we do that with KIPTA. Although they use the same firm, they've got different auditors within this fairly large firm that can so you don't have the same one year after year. But you all have had a chance to look over these proposals. In my conversation with one of the people that submitted a proposal, that they were aware of what Ed had charged, and it kind of appeared, and I just don't think it's fair. I don't particularly feel comfortable in just undercutting somebody that's done a good job by a few $100 and getting the bid. But I'm going to leave it up to you all. This will be to award auditing services to a firm to do our fiscal year ending 2020 audit. And with that, I'll open it up. Who needs to be recognized first?
We will have to have a single audit.
Yeah. Before we get into that, the treasurer's sitting here with me, and please make that a note in the minutes that the treasurer is in the judge's office this morning. There's a possibility, and a strong possibility, that we will also need single audit, and that's because of the amount of work that we've done, federally funded work that we've done, FEMA and so forth. So that is not included in the proposals. Some of them address that in their proposals, that if there is a single audit, they address that. So, but we very likely will need a single audit. Do you think, and I'm talking to Doug right now, do you think that'll be for the fiscal year ending 2020, or yeah, his nod was affirmative. Yes, we probably will need a single audit for fiscal year ending 2020, and maybe 2021 as well. So, but anyway, this is for services to do our auditing for fiscal year ending 2020.
Well, just to get the discussion going, I'll make a motion that we accept RWH's proposal of $9,395 to do that audit.
Okay, we've got a motion.
Who did the motion?
The motion was to accept the $9,395 quote from RWH. That's Ed Lentz.
Okay.
Well, I'll go ahead and second that motion, if nobody else is inclined to, since, that was my recommendation anyway. And if discussion,
I would just say that, we had two quotes at $9,000 each, Jones and Allen, and then we had one for 18,000, which is totally out of line. And then RWH was 93.95. Since we've had him and he's done a good job, the only problem I had with the Allen quote of 9,000 is that originally we had a quote of 15,000. Then after they got additional information, they dropped it to 9,000. So that would just be my concern.
right. Any other comments on the motion? Questions or concerns? No. Hearing none, I don't want to move too fast, but we've got some other important stuff to talk about. Let's go ahead and call the roll. Unless somebody has a comment, let's go ahead and call the roll on the motion.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
No.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody.
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and notify those. And like I said, one of the firms is on the call, the Zoom meeting this morning, so they'll already know. But I will notify everyone, and we'll go ahead and get that set up. Moving on to new business, we have the tax rates that are the special taxing districts are required to submit to fiscal court. You've got a couple of them in there. One is the Spencer County Health Department, and I don't know if there's any questions on that. Both Squire Beaverson and I sit on that board of directors. I don't know that there's any questions, but it has been presented to the court. The next one is the Taylorsville Spencer County Fire Department. I see that we've got Chief Nation. Chief, have you got anything you'd like to add to the presentation of what's in our packet? Or
No, other than, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay. Other than just to say that they're the same tax rates as the last 2 years. And also the law changed where starting January 1 of 2021, special districts, including ourselves, will now be subject to the 4% increase as you guys. So in the future, instead of setting flat rates, those are things that'll be taken in consideration. So it may be a little longer for us to, a month or so to get these rates to you come next year. Also, I'd just like to comment that I know it's not about tax rates, but thank you all for your all's actions a little while back on the radios. Not trying to speak for the sheriff or the city police or EMS, but I think they would all agree that once getting that all in, that has really helped the efficiency of everybody. So I'd just like to thank you all for that. And also, we did do a tax increase a couple years ago, and we put out some information to the public about what we were going to utilize those funds for. And we've tried to keep the public updated on that through their Facebook page and through the newspaper. And with this kind of being the 2-year mark, within the next month or so, we're going to kind of put out a comparison of, what we said we were going to do and kind of where we are. I also included in there for you just a copy of our annual report 2019. Feel free to look at that. And if you have any questions, let me know. And just like you all, 2020 has been very challenging. A lot of our activities, we're just trying to keep everybody healthy to be able to respond to calls at this time. So that's all I have. If any of y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions?
I just want to say thank you, Nathan, for that was a very good report you gave us and a lot of information. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jim.
All right. The
Just-
next, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I would like to thank the nation too. That is a thorough report I've ever seen come out of the county on anything. I think you've done it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Moody.
Nathan, I do have one question.
Sure.
Reading through there, on your total runs, you added the runs for smoke detector installations and community events. Was there a reason for, is that for a reason?
You kind of cut out, but I think I got what you're saying. We just, we started doing that a couple years ago, Jim, just to document that. We wasn't documenting, community events and smoke detector events. And it was just something we felt was important to document as far as their activity in the community.
Okay. I didn't know if if there was money involved in it. The more runs you make, the more, that you grants or whatever you might get.
No, it was just, we were just doing a lot of that and we wasn't documenting it. And I think we started, it was 2 or 3 years ago, documenting that just so we had an idea of what we were doing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief, I know not everybody's in a position to attend board meetings, but those are open public board meetings, and just remind everybody when those are.
Sure. The board meets the second Monday of each month, 10 a.m. at the fire station here at Water Street in Taylorsville.
Okay. All right. With that, we were given the information, I just got it actually Thursday late, I believe, on our tax rates. The tax rolls have been certified, and you've got a lot of paperwork there. I don't expect to take any action on this, although we could if you'd care to. But we are required to set our tax rates. I've talked to, I know at least one of you, maybe a couple of you, about this. And if you look at the, there's, well, I don't know which page number it is. It basically gets down to real property, and they give us, and this is from the Department of Revenue and the Department of Local Government, they give us what's called the compensating rate, which in our case for the current tax year would be 7.60. Or we can opt to take a 4% increase rate. And if we opt to do that, it would be 7.90 is what we set that. That's on real property. So as I've explained to many of our constituents and many of you all, in a fast growing county like we are, typically you are going to see the tax rate go down, which it has. It's if you look at the history of our property tax rate, you'll see it goes down. We went last year, I believe, from 8.1, if I'm not mistaken, to 7.9. Now, if we do not take the 4% rate, it's going to go to 7.6. So that rate continually goes down. And I do find it humorous in some communities where the politician stands in front of their constituents and say, oh, guess what? I lowered your tax rate. Well, it's not because they wanted to. It's because of House Bill 44 that requires that. So we're gonna have to at our August 17th, or we can do it today if you want, is to set the tax rates so that we can get those certified over to county clerk's office and get the tax bills printed up and out on time. So I think we're okay to wait until August 17th to do that. So if y'all want to do more homework on it and research on it and understand it a little better, that's fine, or we can go ahead and do that today if you'd like. So. If there's no questions or comments. Oh, yeah, Doug just reminded me too, if we do take the 4% increase, which would leave the tax rate at 7.9, its current rate, then we would be required to hold a hearing on that. So I guess I'm really going to need to know what the pleasure of the court's going to be. You know, I'll just open it up for some discussion on it. If we're going to opt to adopt the 4% increase rate, we'll have to schedule a public hearing on it, and we could do that just prior to our regular fiscal court meeting if that's the case. So,
Well, Judge, this is-
or we can, let me just say, or we can just adopt the compensating rate and lower our rate from 7.9 to 7.6. So go ahead, Jim.
I think we all understand this. We went through it last year and a year before. I'll make a motion that we go with the compensating rate of 7.6 over next year.
We've got a motion. Anybody care to second that motion?
I'll second it. Mike Moody.
Okay.
So just to be clear, this makes the revenue for the county remain the same as the previous year.
Excluding new properties, that's correct.
Okay.
So as you can see, the difference in the two rates is roughly $40,000, it looks like. So, okay, we've got a motion to adopt a compensating rate on real property at that would be at 7.6%. Go ahead, Squire Beaverson.
Just clear my throat.
Oh, okay.
Let's vote.
Don't scratch your nose. I'll take it as a bid. All right. Anybody else have any comments or questions or concerns? If not, I'm going to ask the clerk to call a roll.
For Mike Moody,
Yes.
for Beaverson,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
for Travis,
Yes.
for Jerry Moody,
I tried to ask a question, got bought out. The vote yes will be there will be no increase in people's property tax. Is that correct?
There will be a decrease in the property tax rate.
So I understand better. I vote no because I promised my people I would not vote for a tax increase.
Okay.
for Brewer,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. And we need to go ahead also and set the rate for watercraft and motor vehicles. I assume we're going to leave that rate the same as it is, but I'll leave that up to you all. I need that in the form of a motion. It's 8.29%.
How long has that been the rate?
That I don't have an answer for you on it. Be happy to research it to tell you.
Is it the same as the rate was last year, I assume?
I believe it is.
And so it would actually result in about the same revenue. Is that correct?
Well, not necessarily. This is the tax rate, and I don't think that's included in the real estate determining compensating or 4% rate. And what you got to understand is it's based on the assessed value. So, you know, if you're, it's unlikely the assessed value of a motor vehicle is going to go up, or a watercraft will go up. So, but an individual tax bill just depends on what the assessment is. Real estate is a little different issue in that when the PVA reassesses properties and raises the assessed value, then that could result, even though we've lowered our tax rate, it could result in a higher tax bill. So for some, not all.
Well, this is Jim. I'll make the motion that we accept the 8.29 rate on the watercraft and motor vehicles, which is, came down from, Department of Local Government, so I don't think we have any choice on that, do we?
Well, I suppose we would, but I don't know that it's really, you look at particularly on watercraft, you're looking at a total of $9,100 and motor vehicle a little different, but it's the same rate. I don't think that would be unreasonable to accept the same rate.
I'll make a motion that we accept that same rate of 8.29.
8.29, okay.
I'll second.
I've got Squire Beaverson as a second on that. Okay, any other discussion?
Yes, I think we're voting too fast. We just now got the notice on it. We haven't had time to research it.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, call the roll on the motion.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
No,
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item is,
Are you going to set the tangible rate?
I'm sorry,
Are you going to set the tangible rate?
what is the, I apologize, let me see if I can, is that on our documents from DLG? Tangible? No, it's not. No, it's not on the, what we got from DLG, so. Okay, we're gonna move on then. Soil conservation and Plum Creek watershed, they have presented their tax rates and information. And I don't know that we have anybody dialed in. We could to answer any questions, but they're required, of course, to present those as the fire department, all the taxing districts. So anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns on that? If not, we're going to move on to.
I do have one.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
On the report we have in our packet of the annual financial report of the Plum Creek watershed. If you look down, and maybe Doug can answer this question, look down towards the bottom where it says balance on hand, June the 30th, 2019. I believe that was typographical error. It should have been June the 30th, 2020.
I understand the question.
Yeah, repeat the question, Jim.
On the annual financial report of the Plum Creek watershed, down towards the bottom, the balance on hand is June 30th, 2019. I believe it's a typographical error. It should read June the 30th, 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Unless that was their carryover from the prior year.
Unrestricted there should be, I'd say it's 2000. The top of it just says July 1st, 19 to June 30th, 2020.
Okay, we'll get a hold of them and clarify that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else before we move on to Deputy Animal Control Officer new hire? I've got a recommendation to hire as a full-time animal control officer. This is not just a kennel worker. Gentleman by the name of Nicholas Scott Wilkerson. James Houchins and I have both talked to him. He's, I think, would be a very good hire for that position. It's a very difficult position to find someone. And my recommendation is to hire Nicholas Scott Wilkerson, subject to position of deputy animal control officer. and that would be subject to background check and drug screen. And the pay rate would be $14 per hour. Anybody care to make that motion?
Jim will make that motion.
Okay. And anybody got a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion? We have cast the net out there for this position. Previous time we cast the net, we got a significant number of applications, but none that really would measure up to being an animal control officer. So we kind of pulled in our horns on it, decided, well, possibility of just hiring a kennel worker, but that doesn't help us where we need to be. We've got, and I don't mind sharing this with you. Right now, we've got the animal control officer is in isolation. We've been filling in over there with Randy Bush and Wayne from the Recycle Center. And so right now, I have no one, Wayne, over doing anything with the animal shelter. Fortunately, we will be at the end of today down to 3 dogs. However, I did have a call last night from one of the Taylorsville PD about some stray dogs that he would have liked to have had picked up, but I simply had no one to do that. So really would like to go ahead and get this new hire moving and begin training and get him in place. So the motion is to go ahead and hire him at $14 an hour. Any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and call the roll on the motion.
George Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
No.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
No.
Squire Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. We really need that. We'll get that process working.
Judge, I'd like to ask a question at this time.
Yeah, sure.
Why would we not consider putting that department on an emergency only calls? I mean, you know, we've taken action for the recycling center to, you know, not go out and get certain trash and stuff like that, but we're allowing the animal control people to be in contact with numerous people that it's not an emergency at this point in time. That
Yeah,
might eliminate the exposure of our personnel.
right. Essentially, that's what we've been doing, Squire Brewer, is emergency only. You know, a lot of people have a difficult time understanding what the difference of an emergency and what's not an emergency. So we do still get calls, but you know, as I told the officer last night, I said, unless that dog is, you know, got a lock, got their locked on a kid running down the street, that's an emergency, but that would warrant.
Right.
Right. But no, you know, people, you know, really have a difficult time, I think, understanding the difference between an emergency and what's not an emergency. So essentially, that's what we've done, Squire. Okay, we'll move on then, and if there's no other questions, we'll move on to EMS new hires, and I'll turn that over to Director Limp.
Y'all hear me again okay?
Yes.
I'll add that while we're sitting here, we just got 11 new COVID cases. So you got updated on that. But I have in your packet, you'll see a recommendation of 4 new EMS employees, 2 full-time and 2 part-time. Would you like me to do those separate or just as a group?
Whatever's the pleasure of the court.
I'm good with the group.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I don't think we need a motion on it. I'm okay with it.
No, I mean, we do need a motion to go ahead and hire
Yeah, as a
and set pay rates and so forth. So
It's a full-time EMT, a full-time advanced EMT, and 2 part-time EMTs.
So I tell you what, let me do this. I'll entertain a motion to go ahead and hire Mark Lucas as a full-time EMT at $12.50 per hour. Michael Ryan David, full-time EMT for $14 an hour.
Judge, he's an advanced EMT.
Oh, an advanced EMT. That's not noted on our agenda, but advanced EMT, that's why there's a difference in the pay rate.
Correct.
And James, Corey, Sally, and Darley Mill. So there's 4 total, is that right?
Correct. 2 full-time, 2 part-time.
Both of them as part-time. Are those EMTs? No. 1350, is that a paramedic or EMT?
Part-time EMT.
Part-time EMT.
Correct.
Is that clear as mud to everybody?
Hey, this is following the proposed pay tables, so we're good.
Okay. So if anybody would like to make that motion, and do these, Chris, refresh my memory, are these subject to drug screen?
To a criminal background check and drug screen, correct.
Okay. So the motion would include that.
Correct.
Hey, Chris, am I understanding correctly that this will possibly eliminate some overtime for your department?
It should. We were short 4 full-time EMT positions. So by hiring these 2 full-timers, it will eliminate quite a bit, hopefully most of the unscheduled full-time overtime. It'll still leave 2 spots to keep our part-timers employed. But this is filling the spot that Rob Wynn left when he went back to Metro, and the spot that where I came off of the truck. So this should cut out a majority of our unscheduled overtime for full-time.
Okay, is anybody prepared to make that motion?
Beaverson, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation for hires pending the drug tests and background checks at the proposed pay rates.
All right, that sounds like a good motion to me. Anybody want to second that?
Brewer, second it.
Squire Brewer. Any discussion, questions, comments, concerns? If not, just let me know if there is, but I'm going to ask the clerk to go ahead and call the roll on the motion.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Judge, I do have a question. I didn't want to do it on the motion, but let me ask you this. Would it be possible, and see what the court thinks about it, of allowing Chris to hire these people coming before fiscal court? Because we have set the pay rates for those, and as long as he hires somebody for that position at the pay rate that we've set, just to keep him from coming to fiscal court each month asking our permission to hire, and give him that authority to do that.
I believe that the auditors are going to look for action from the court to establish the hire date and pay rate and that sort of thing. So
Are you sure of that?
Yeah.
I can add, the way that we have to, when we hire a new employee, the way that we do our current scheduling, coming to court is not a setback for me because, like these two new employees, in their interview process, I told them my expected start date was the middle of this month. So we will precept those two new employees until the first scheduled shift of September. That way, their first scheduled shift in September, we can release those. So coming through the court, it allows me that extra time to precept the employee and get them familiar with our systems. So it kind of works this way.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we're gonna move on to,
Thank you, gentlemen.
okay, thanks, Chris. We're gonna move on to solid waste ordinance, and I'm gonna turn that over to Squire Travis and Squire Brewer, who have been working on this for a long time. And I believe, I'll let them speak for themselves, but I believe they've got this ordinance ready for a first reading. So I'll turn it over to Squire Travis. How about that?
I'll make a motion that we accept the new ordinance that's in your packet for the first reading.
We've got a
And
motion
I'll second that.
and we've got a second.
Who's the
Now, is
second?
there any other discussion?
Who was the second on that, please?
Brewer.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I will say that Tim and I and Karen Spencer Recycling and Mayor Tullersville, Matt Douglas and Citizen Gene Walter have worked on this for several months with the help of KIPTA and the help of the Kentucky Waste Management Frankfurt. And we have been through probably 24 drafts, getting everything correct. And I think this is about as good as it's going to get.
Well, I appreciate the work of all those people. I want to add the former Deputy Judge Executive Karen Clark put a lot of time into this, as well as our county attorney.
And Brittany also.
And Brittany. So anyway, with that, is there any other questions? This will be for approving the first reading of the new solid waste ordinance. Not, call the roll, please.
Squire Jerry Moody,
No.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
No.
Squire Beaverson,
No.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Motion fails.
Okay, the motion failed, so go back to the drawing board and hopefully we'll get some input from those that opposed this form, and we'll be able to move on. But we need to get this wrapped up and get specs written for bidding our garbage hauling contract. So that contract was extended through the end of this year, and the clock keeps ticking. So, all right. Next up is the year-end financial statement that's been presented by the treasurer. I'll just say this: if anybody has any questions, we'll try to entertain them. Otherwise, to feel free to contact Doug or Brittany if you need to on any of that information. So, does anybody have anything they'd like to address this morning? If not, we'll move on. I don't hear anybody. Okay. So we're going to move on to review and approval of expenditures, purchases, invoices, and transfers. It would be nice to pay our bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Okay, and that's to approve the expenditures, purchases, invoices, and transfers, I think.
That's it.
Okay. A motion.
Brewer second.
And Squire Brewer seconds that. Any questions? If not, go ahead and call the roll, please.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Rich Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Okay, I've got one more thing, but I'll open it up to the court if there's anything that the members of the court would like to address before we adjourn. If not, I just wanted to mention that I have sworn in Brittany Vito as our new deputy judge executive. So you all, some of you have congratulated her on that, and we August 1st was Karen Clark's official retirement date, so we wish her well. And it's going to be, particularly with this COVID issue and some things that we're wrestling with there. As several people have mentioned to me over the weekend, we are in uncharted waters. So please, everyone, have patience and use extreme caution with regard to this virus. And we will be happy to help answer any questions, or if you have any, please just let us know. I think also, before I adjourn, I think there was an issue with the electrical this morning over in the Property Valuation Administrator's office, and that has now been corrected. So we had Dwight Martin, thankfully, that came over and corrected that. So that is it's done. So if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Second.
and that'd be Squire Brewer, I believe.
Yep.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We're adjourned. Thank you all.